Hi, I'm Morgan Hines in the PhocusWire studio, and I'm here with Wendy Olson Killion of Rome2Rio. Welcome. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So I want to talk a little bit about your CEO journey. It's been a little over a year since you started as CEO of Rome2Rio. What have you learned during your first year in the role?
Well, I've learned so much. I think this first year has all been about solving problems, and that's solving problems for the traveler. As we think about evolving our platform is 15 years old next year. So we've been solving this very complex problem in a simple way for travelers for a long time. But we think about how to evolve it. So really thinking about the traveler problem. Second, we've been thinking about the partner problem and the scale that we've been trying to solve for. So we have hundreds of millions of people coming to our site every year. So thinking about how to connect them with the right partners in the right way at the right time throughout their journey to make it accretive. And then finally, the people. It's not really a problem, but how do we globalize this business?
Yeah.
So the business started in Melbourne back in 2011, and how it has evolved to be a very global player in travel. That's a big journey for the team as we shift to a very Australian-based culture to a very global culture. And for me personally, who I live outside of Seattle, we're owned by Omio Group in Berlin, and then most of the team is in Melbourne, trying to figure out that logistical challenge and doing all of it while having a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. So where have you taken that then culture-wise? Where are you bringing the company now that you're trying to meld all these cultures together?
That's a great question. The culture is fantastic. I have never been on a team that is as driven by mission and purpose to solving this traveler problem than I have at Rome2Rio.
Okay.
So it's now really expanding that to think about they've always thought about travelers globally and put travelers at the heart of every problem. But as we think about, the anecdote I always think about is we grew up in America thinking about the romance of traveling by train in Europe.
Yeah.
And that's really the founder's story of how they came to have Rome2Rio. We think it's easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
It's a really hard problem to solve. And so we think about those folks going into Europe, trying to understand the train system, trying to understand buses, how to transfer, especially across country lines and all of those things. So one of the things we're doing is we're putting more people in Europe.
Okay.
And that's a piece where it's like, okay, well, we need people on the ground, close to partners and close to the travelers as they are in that region.
Okay, got it. And how has your experience from prior roles translated to your current role?
I think the one that stands out the most is Expedia Group, where I ran the media solutions, which is now Expedia Group Advertising.
Yeah.
I think about the Expedia Group overall and the experience that I had there. And the thing that they've always done really well is put the traveler at the heart of everything they do. Okay. So whether it be product, commercial roles, marketing, anything that you're thinking about how that solves the traveler problem.
Okay.
And we're doing the same thing. So we're focusing on that traveler and putting them at the heart of what we do. The other element, at that time, Media Solutions was a totally autonomous business.
Okay.
So it was almost like a CEO in training.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. So I got to have the opportunity of determining how to invest, how to spend our time, our treasure, all of those things. And tying that back to results for the traveler and for our partners and ultimately for Expedia Group. So that gave us the opportunity. Ultimately, it also made me shift from sales to partnerships.
Okay.
It's not about selling. It's about how we partner together to create a better together type of partnership or type of, anything that we're doing together. How do we really make sure that it's 1 + 1 = 3?
Okay. And as you've come into this space with your past experience in mind and what you've gone through in the last year, how would you say that multimodal travel has changed in the last 5 years with technology?
Multimodal travel is the heart of all travel when we really think about it. And so surface is rising is what we like to say. And
tell me a little bit about what that means.
What that means. Yeah. It's not just a soundbite. When we look at searches that are less than 90 miles, it's exploding. It's the biggest area of growth. Part of this is, the EU has the regional restrictions on flights, that's changed. So there has been legislation that changed that. We also have these amazing celebrities and influencers. Dua Lipa is posting pictures of her on the train.
Okay.
Right. So we're shifting how people are thinking about these different ways of transport. The other piece of that is overall, nearly 50% of searches on our platform are multimodal. It's not just about flights anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And we think about that. There's many reasons for that. But the other piece is like, we have added an enormous amount of new corridors since 2019. All of those.
Can you put a number on that, like a figure?
Well, I will say that 96% of those new routes are all surface.
Okay.
They're all surface. So these new destinations and routes are not regionally flights. These are people going to these undiscovered locations and they're using surface transport. And that's what we're able to do with this multimodal piece. And we always say it's from A to any B, but that's truly what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
It's not from near A to near B, which is what a lot of platforms have done traditionally.
Yeah.
Correct. It's really, how do I get from where I am standing right now to where I want to go?
Right.
And what does that entire journey look like? Not just hub to hub.
So my apartment to wherever, to wherever, to wherever, to wherever
That's
my
right.
destination.
That's right.
Okay. Got it. And how has AI changed your business specifically?
AI is awesome. AI, I think about it in three ways. I think about it from a technology standpoint. It is such a powerful technology. We recently did a hackathon at our company. Over 70% of the company participated in this hackathon.
Okay.
And the one rule is it had to be AI centric, either driven by AI, using AI, some major element of it had to be AI related.
Okay.
And the thing that I really loved about seeing that is we always have known great ideas come from anywhere.
Yeah.
But now great implementation can come from anywhere.
Huh. I hadn't thought of it that way. That's an interesting way to put it.
So my executive assistant won a prize for what she did in how to use AI to solve people team challenges, being able to answer people team questions more quickly and efficiently. She actually built the app.
Wow.
Not just came up with the idea. So it's this great element of inclusion in bringing more people into solving problems. Obviously, there's the efficiency that the technology brings that we use heavily. The next part that I think about is the platforms, right? We can't talk about AI without talking about LLMs.
Yeah.
And we love LLMs. There's a lot of conversations about LLMs and SEO. What we think about, we have truly unique content that we want to partner with the LLMs on and being able to answer the travelers' questions in more effective ways. And so when we think about that unique content, we think about how to continually refresh it. How do we continually get more information and bring it back in to the platforms that customers are using when they're planning travel?
Yeah.
And then ultimately, we think about the people part of it. There's this element, and someone put it, is human honesty. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So one of the things that our platform has been doing for a very long time is creating trust and confidence for people to travel places. How do I get somewhere? Is that place accessible to me or not? So we combine the technology and the platform. We get a ton of big data from all sorts of different sources. We also partner with over 30 travel experts around the world who are on the ground. And they are finding ways of travel that aren't online. They're digitizing the non-digital.
Okay.
We talk about the water buffalo drawn cart that you can take, which is actually a really safe and efficient way, and one that's really helping a local business person.
And was that previously bookable online?
None of this was available online. But now that we have these experts, so we take these people and we partner them with the power of AI and data, and that's where you get the human honesty element of it.
Okay.
And that's what differentiates our platform.
Okay. Got it. So it sounds like it's right now more of a internal back-end situation. Is your platform going to incorporate any kind of chatbots or things like that?
We're working on things every day. Okay. Watch this space.
Okay, sounds good. And how are you using AI in your day-to-day?
Well, I have a personal goal for the second half of the year to build my own AI app.
Okay.
And I'm trying to solve a problem that for me personally, it's one that I see a lot. So I work with a lot of nonprofit organizations.
Yeah.
They have a lot of content. How do I digitize this content? Maybe meeting minutes for the last 50 years.
Oh my gosh.
But how I'm trying to think about it is how do you consume? We have a family cookbook.
Okay.
And it was done in the 1990s. It's, I'm sure, sitting on a floppy disk somewhere that is no longer accessible. But we want to refresh it.
Yeah.
And people are asking for more copies. And so what I'm doing is trying to build an app where I can take pictures of the pages, consume it, convert it, tag it, and do it in a way that is much more sustainable for the future.
Yeah. That's exciting.
That's my personal business goal.
By the end of this year or by the end of next year?
By the end of this year.
Oh my gosh. Well,
yeah.
You'll have to keep me updated on
I will.
that.
I will. I'll send you a copy.
Yeah, I need to improve my cooking, so that's a good thing.
And ultimately, I use AI every day.
Yeah.
I am using AI in every day. I have a monitor. I have 2 monitors at my desk, and one is always on AI chatbots and the LLMs. And so anything that I do on my main screen, I'm thinking about how to use AI to make it better.
Okay.
So I'm trying to, that's all it's dedicated to.
So enhancement, really.
That's right.
And where do you see, switching gears a little bit, where do you see multimodal travel going in the next 5 years? We talked about the past. Let's move to the future.
Yeah, some of it is the same, right? It's really around that end-to-end journey that we talked about, not the hub to hub. How do we truly get people from where they are to where they want to go? There's this element that we hear it a lot about, secondary and tertiary destinations. We call them undiscovered destinations because secondary and tertiary makes them seem smaller. Where really what we're seeing is a huge uptick in the amount of searches to towns and villages. And it's really around dispersal by design.
Okay.
Is how we think about it, right? And this is a problem that tourism boards have been trying to solve for a long time, is how do you move people outside of hubs and how do you do it responsibly? And that's one of the things that we think about the future of multimodal. That's really a lot of surface transport. Yeah.
And do you see a role for Rome2Rio in combating over-tourism with that in mind?
Absolutely. And I think over-tourism is the last piece that we think about the future of multimodal is that values-based traveler.
Yeah.
The ETC, I think Expedia as well, have released a lot of studies about what are the values of the traveler and how we match them. And I think that's what we can do by showing them all of the choices. Okay. Here are all the different ways that you can go somewhere. And also, did you know that there's these really amazing places nearby?
Yeah.
So how do we get them from kind of that top tier POIs to, I've heard so many examples since I've taken this role of how do you get people to these really interesting churches outside of Barcelona?
Yeah.
And how do you move them there? Well, we can tell you how to move them there.
Right.
Like we have this element of telling this story to try and move people to places that are just as interesting or maybe even fits more with their values and with what residents can sustain.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we think about. Responsibility in tourism is a key part of what we think about and have always thought about at Rome2Rio. And we're now kind of advancing that as we partner with more tourism boards. We recently did a partnership with Visit Brazil where we did exactly that.
Yeah.
We basically said Rio's great. We obviously love it. We also love Rome.
Yeah.
They're both in the name. But we were thinking about how to get people outside to see the beauty and nature and other elements of the country.
Yeah.
And it's working really well.
Okay.
It's working really well as we just kind of tell those stories with our maps.
That's really cool. And so it sounds like there's a lot of success and innovation happening right now, which is really exciting. But what are the biggest challenges you're facing?
I knew you were going to ask this. We have been making the complex simple for a long time, but it's still really complex, right? This is a really fragmented part of the ecosystem of travel. It's very disconnected and it's never been designed to be connected.
Yeah.
So we have to continue to solve that problem. We have to continue to solve that problem well, and we have to figure out what is the next evolution and iteration of that. What I will say is I love this job because there are so many opportunities. But the biggest challenge is there's so many opportunities.
You can't eat an elephant in one bite, right?
Well, there's, exactly. So they're so plentiful. And we think about it as time.
Yeah.
Where do we spend our time? Our treasure. Where are we investing? and our trust, because we have this platform, like I mentioned, it's been around for 15 years next year, that people trust. And so we can't take that lightly.
Yeah.
We can't say, let's go test this feature. Let's put this AI on here that's untested.
Right.
Because ultimately we still have to answer to our travelers.
Right.
And so when we think about how do we prioritize those opportunities, we have to be really thoughtful and brutal, because there's so many opportunities out there for us.
Right. And things are changing really quickly.
Absolutely.
So let's shift gears back to you a little bit.
Okay.
There are not many female CEOs in the travel tech space.
That's too bad.
What would you say to other women in travel tech who might look to take on a similar role to yours one day, or who are hoping to advance in this industry?
It's a good question, and I look forward to more women joining the ranks of CEO. I will say that my advice can be for anyone. It's pretty gender neutral.
Yeah.
But there's three things that I think about. Know it and name it. So know what you want to do.
Yeah.
Say, I want to be a CEO, and tell people that you
Yeah.
want to be a CEO. So I think about my journey, and there are roles that I took that maybe are less sexy or less obvious at the surface level, but because I knew what I wanted to do, I knew how each one laddered upon the next to get where I wanted to be.
Very strategic.
Exactly. And the next part is surround yourself, build your circle of trust. Because one of those elements, I went from a long history of product to lead a very large sales team.
Yeah.
And I did that because I had trusted mentors, trusted leaders who said, she's going to be successful. We're going to try it.
Yeah.
Get people who will test and learn with you. And that's professionally, but that's also personally.
Right.
I will say I could not do anything that I do without an amazing husband.
Yeah.
Who had the flexibility in his career.
Yeah.
He's an airline pilot. He says it
Very
beats working
cool.
for a living. But he says, like he's home now, so I can be away. I travel a lot for this role. As we were thinking about your first question around what I learned for the first year is, could I do the role logistically? And he's a big part of that. So I would say to anyone who wants to do this, choose really wisely who you're circling yourself with at work and at home, because that's what's going to ultimately make you successful. And then the last thing I would say is be authentically you.
Yeah.
One of the things for me is I like to have fun. I like to have smiles. I like to ensure that we're thinking about things in a way. Values-based leadership is incredibly important to me.
Yeah.
And that's not always been convenient.
Yeah.
But you have to know what values are core to you and that you live, and then you will be able to know what you're able to do. So those would be my three things. I think to summarize, it's know it and name it, surround yourself with a circle of trust, and be authentic.
That's great advice. And as we wrap up, what do you know now that you wish you knew starting your career?
That is a really interesting question. I think that I always go back to trust the universe.
Yeah.
Because there are things that, and part of that's trust your gut.
Yeah.
Is you want to make decisions and you want to do things, and sometimes they don't make sense or you get frustrated.
Yeah.
But like, I think about my journey and how it has evolved, and I'm so happy. There's nothing I would change.
Yeah.
But in time, you might get frustrated, and just understand how you can use that frustration, or, it's similar to what I tell my kids when they're playing sports. Use it.
Yeah.
Use everything that you are given to understand how it fits and to learn.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to test. I mean, ultimately, testing and learning is the basis of everything we do.
Yeah.
And so make that key in your career as well.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. So fun.